Hello and welcome to another Star Trek Sunday with me, Stu Jackson, aka Stooge Action. And today we've got a very exciting episode. Today we're going to be talking about what is your favourite episode and or movie. What is the one pinnacle for you of all the stuff that's out there? And do you know what, I'm even going to expand that even further. If there is a novel that you think surpasses every single episode out there and every single movie, we'll throw that into the mix. We'll throw in graphic novels. What is your favourite piece of Star Trek property out there? Do message your favourites in the live chat, because I want to hear them. I really do. And I really want to throw this out there as well. What is it that makes a good episode or a good movie? Is it the story? Is it action-packed spaceship battles with phasers and photon torpedoes flying? Is it intrigue, mystery? Is it the character developments and the character interactions? What is it that makes a good Star Trek episode, movie, novel, graphic novel, game? Do you know what? I'm blowing this wide open. What is your absolutely favourite thing of all the stuff that's out there? Like I say, do drop in the chat. What is your favourite? We will be looking at what my personal favourite out of everything out there is, and I'll be doing a review of that thing, so do stay tuned for that. I will be live on this stream doing an unboxing. Now, many of you watching may already be aware, but I have quite an extensive collection of starships. In fact, Eaglemoss do a wide range. And I have everything Star Trek related that they have ever put out. I'm quite proud of it. It takes up pretty much my entire living room. I've got these big glass display cabinets from IKEA, IKEA Detolf cabinets. If you're that way inclined, I've got extra shelves in them, and it fills. I've got 8 of these cabinets, absolutely jam-packed full, and they're starting to overflow. I'm starting to run out of room in those. So yeah, Eaglemoss just keep bringing out more and more stuff. So I will be doing an unboxing of one of my latest acquisitions here on the stream. We will be talking about some of the latest Star Trek news out there. I'll be giving a bit of an update as best I possibly can about the movie, about Discovery season 4, about Picard season 2, Lower Deck season 2. We'll be discussing the new shows, Section 31 show, the Strange New Worlds coming out, and the new animated series Prodigy. So there we are, a bit of a really packed episode here for you today. Don't forget, I want to hear what your favourite shows are. Let me just check the messaging, because nothing's coming up with my Twitch messaging. So do give me a shout on there, just so that I know you're there and it's working. That would be very much appreciated. But I am going to check on my stream. Nothing I can see. Okay. Yeah, but not to worry. So, yeah, do like I say, do drop me a message in the chat, just so I know you're there. Okay, so I'll kick us off then with my own personal favourite of all the stuff that's out there. Now, oh, hang on. I've just received a notification about a thing, so I need to check that it is actually working. Nope, that's cool. Thank you, Ed. Ed's basically Ed is a friend and long-time associate. Well, not that long really, but long enough on the whole Star Trek Twitch live streaming thing. So yeah, he's just posted on Facebook. I wanted to check that it's coming through okay. Yes, so my personal favourite then is an episode. Fantastic. Yes. So I'm glad this is working then. Yes, not long, but it seems like forever. I'm glad you specified in a good way. Thanks, Ed, and thanks for joining. Yes, so Ed, do share what your favourite piece of Star Trek material is. I want to hear that. Yeah, mine is an episode. It's an episode from my all-time favourite Star Trek series, Deep Space Nine. But before I go into the episode, I am actually going to share with you as well, just briefly, what my favourite movie is, because it's a bit of an unusual one. It doesn't hold much popularity with many Star Trek fans. I've got the Romulan ale going on, see, in a Federation glass. But my favourite all-time movie actually is a bit of a roller coaster, and the way it was done is actually the J.J. Abrams 2009 reboot. Now that is a controversial choice, I'm well aware, amongst many of the fans, but I think the way they brought it up to date, the aesthetics of it, while still remaining sort of faithful to the original, and the whole it's a different timeline thing, solved a lot of issues. I know Tarantino, when he was looking at his movie, was thinking about doing away with that, but I don't think that'd be a good idea at all, because otherwise, you basically, without making it a different timeline that will explain all the differences, you're creating a whole bunch of problems. But yeah, so it's my the J.J. Abrams 2009 reboot, and I'm happy to share with you all today. I cannot watch that opening sequence with Chris Hemsworth, of course, playing Kirk's father, and the birth of James Tiberius Kirk. I can't watch that scene without tears welling up to this day, and I've watched it many times. It's my go-to. As an actor, you have kind of go-to moments if you need to cry on cue. That is actually my go-to moment. So there you are. Bit of a secret there, but I'm happy to share with you all, because I know you're lovely people and you won't use that against me. Better not anyway, but hey, if you do, it says more about you than me. But that's not my all-time favourite piece of... it is a good choice. I think it's a good choice. But I'm glad you agree. Now, my all-time favourite, like I say, it's from Deep Space Nine. It is from Season 6. It is the 143rd episode of Deep Space Nine, episode 19 of Season 6, In the Pale Moonlight. Now, I'm really big on character development. I like dark stories. I like real character depth, and as an actor, I like to see phenomenal acting, and I like depth of stories. And Avery Brooks just absolutely knocked this one completely out of the park. They came close with it to breaking the fourth wall, so it's delivered essentially pretty much the whole season in flashback, whole episode in flashbacks. As Captain Sisko is what have we got? Do you know what? I'll hang to here. From Ed, which your favourite episode is? You can wait. Okay. Fair enough. I'll go on then. But I want to hear. But yeah, so it's delivered in flashbacks as Captain Sisko. The question is, what is your all-time favourite episode, movie, novel, comic book, game? What is your one favourite piece of Star Trek property. So mine, I'm just saying, is Pale Moonlight, episode 19 from season 6 of Deep Space Nine. And it opens with Avery Brooks as Captain Sisko recording a log. Captain's log. But he's doing it direct to camera. So he's coming close to breaking the fourth wall, and it really does. It's a brilliant choice in terms of direction and blocking with that, because it really feels intimate. It feels like he's talking to you personally, and he's sharing and he's bearing his soul. In fact, as the episode progresses and we cut back to him recording more and more of his logs, like I say, it's mostly done in flashbacks, but it does keep cutting back to him recording this log. He actually takes off items of clothing. He doesn't do a full strip or anything. It's not the full Monty in space. But he takes off his jacket. He undoes his vest. And that is actually both. There's two reasons why they did that. One was to show the progression of time for him, but also as he strips his layers away, he is bearing his soul, and it's a fantastic directing decision on that. It is a confession, absolutely. A real confessional moment, and in fact, so a couple of years ago I did an Edinburgh Fringe play that I co-wrote and I directed it. I was also in it, that was set in a confessional booth primarily, and I must admit that this episode did keep coming into mind as I was doing that. So yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so. Kind of spoiler alert for anybody who's not seen the episode yet. I know some of my friends are working their way through Deep Space Nine at the moment, so you might want to just either you're not bothered about spoilers, or you might want to skip ahead. That's up to you. But we're in the heat of the Dominion War. The Dominion is gaining more and more footholds, and the Federation desperately needs an ally, new ally. The Dominion have a peace pact with the Romulans, who are just keeping out of the whole thing. So Sisko formulates this plan to get the Romulans involved in the war on their side. But how do you do it? Now they've got this peace pact. So they say, well, what if we could find proof of the Dominion's plan to invade Romulus? That would certainly do it. Sisko gets hold of Garak, the Taylor spy, and he explains the situation, and Garak's more than happy to help. He uses up his resources remaining on Cardassia Prime to get this information, but it fails miserably because everyone that Garak speaks to get this information is killed by the Dominion Secret Service in short order. So that hits a real dead end. But Garak also suggests this idea, well, if you can't get the information, the next best thing is to manufacture it. And this is where Sisko hits his first real stumbling block, because morally, that means lying. And Starfleet, certainly Gene Roddenberry's idea of Starfleet was that you don't lie. Starfleet is above such things, above deceit. If you can't get what you want by the truth, then it's not worth having. But Sisko also knows how many lives this could potentially save. So it's a real moral sort of grey area for him. But he decides to explore that route. And the way I perceive the episode, at that point, he's not committed himself to actually doing it. He's just committed to exploring the idea of it. How easy would it be to manufacture this evidence? What would be involved? Let's just look into it, kind of a thing. But this quickly snowballs, and it ends up they end up having to free a guy from the Klingons to make this. Recording, who was sentenced to death, basically, Grathon Tolar. who then commits a crime on the station, and Cisco has to bribe Quark. And there's a beautiful scene where Quark, because Quark is, bribery is a way of life for Ferengi, so has no qualms Quark has no qualms in being sort of upfront and honest about it, saying, yeah, okay, it's a bribe, this is what I want then. But Quark being so upfront about it being a bribe makes it all the more difficult for Cisco, because he can't pretend it's not bribing. He can't call it anything else. So it's a real, it's really in his face at this point what he's doing, and I think that is a beautiful moment. There's a fantastic bit at the end of that scene where Quark says, "Do you know what, Captain? I always wondered why I liked you. Now I know. It's because you've got a bit of Ferengi in you." I'm paraphrasing the line there. Armin Shimmerman delivers it much better than me as well. Of course, he would. He's an amazing actor as well. But yeah, so it goes on from there. They manage to find this special data rod that's only manufactured specially by the Cardassians as needed. They manage to get one, but that means giving over this. It's basically like a highly regulated medical substance, and he has to give an order to Dr. Bashir to package it and send it. Of course, Bashir's protesting about it. He wants the order in writing, and that's quite a sort of heavy moment as well. And all the way through, Cisco is getting all these warning signs. Say, what you're doing is wrong. What you're doing is wrong. Right, you're bribing people. You're forcing officers to do things that they know in their own conscience is wrong. And as he's at his deepest moment and questioning himself, really, is this really worth it? He gets another list of casualties from the Dominion War. So yeah, he feels he has no choice but to sacrifice his own morality for the greater good. But his struggle with that is what makes this episode so absolutely phenomenal. So I won't give away much more of the plot, because for those people who haven't seen it, it builds from there, and it's a fantastic episode. I will say that this episode is the one. There was a meme going back. It's been around for a long time now, probably 15 years. With the wonderful Stephen McHattie, who played Senator Vreenak, holding up the rod with the very famous line, and delivered amazingly, going, "It's a fake!" And that is just, that's a phenomenal moment. The delivery, the timing, the camera direction. I think so, because a lot of it is self-explanatory, and he does sort of handhold through the episode. So yes, I agree. It is one you probably could watch as a standalone episode, and yeah. But I think if you have got the lead up to it, if you have got the full background, that's probably going to help. But the dilemma. And the intensity of Avery Brooks's delivery is just absolutely phenomenal. Couple of little pieces of trivia for you on it. The title comes from the 1989 Tim Burton Batman film, with the Joker's catchphrase. I don't know if catchphrase is the right word for that, but when the Joker says, "You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?" That was where the title of this episode came from, directly from that film. And the very final part, when Cisco is in this, again, this phenomenal. Do you know what? As a delivery, this part in particular gives me shivers even thinking about it. When he says, "I can live with it. I can live with it." That is a direct reference to a 1962 movie, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. So worth checking that out for a bit of a trivia reference there. But yes, it's overall it's just an absolutely phenomenal movie. And of course, any Deep Space Nine episode that features Avery Brooks and Garak, has got to be good. Andrew Robinson, just I mean Andrew Robinson and Avery Brooks, just such phenomenal actors. So there we are. That is my favourite. Now is the time. Ed, Matt, anyone else watching, do put in the stream chat what your favourite pieces, episodes, movies. Like I say, let's throw games in. Let's throw novels. Currently reading a really good novel, Q Squared, which is before the episode Q Squared. Yes, it's really good. It brings in Trelane, Squire Trelane, the Squire of Gothos from the original series, as a member of the Q Continuity. It's a really good novel. Yes. So which do you return to over and again as a standalone story? You've got the intrigue going on, line by line here. Booby Trap. Oh, now that's an intriguing choice. So that's a very Geordie heavy episode, isn't it? Yes, the one where we get introduced to the designer of the warp drive for the Enterprise D, Leah Brahms. Do you know what her name was on the tip of my tongue there? Leah Brahms. So no strange. Yes, that's very true. Which actually made it a lot cheaper for them, I suppose, because no new sets, just existing sets all the way through. Of course, they had to design a new ship, didn't they? The Prometheus, although I think that was a Promelian, sorry. Yes, you did, or the skeleton of them at very least. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the ship was reused from something else. It had a very Battlestar Galactica Viper look. Yes, that's very true. And of course, it can't be reasoned with. It can't be negotiated. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yes, I suppose for thinking outside the box, for creating a new sort of dilemma, it was quite an innovative episode. That's a good choice. Very good choice. I'd love to hear from the rest of you what your favourite movies are. Right, that sort of claustrophobic, intense feeling. Balance of Terror, yes. Very good episode, Balance of Terror, as well. From the original series. Wonderful. Right, yes. Cool. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Ed. That's very interesting. But yeah, love to hear from everyone else what your favourites are. I'm going to move forward. I mean, we can always return to this throughout the episode as we go. But I'm going to move on now to the unboxing of, like I say, a recent acquisition and addition to my Eaglemoss Starship collection, which at the moment is running at over 300 ships. Like I say, I have every starship that they have ever put out on the Star Trek line on Eaglemoss. So we are going to be unboxing the XL Delta Flyer, which I'm very excited about. I have already cut the tape just from the front there, just to save a bit of time and so that I don't go slicing my fingers off live on stream, because that wouldn't be very nice for anyone. I am very excited about this particular unboxing because the Delta Flyer is one of my favourite hero ships. I just love the lines of it. I particularly like the interior because it's got that chunky physical control panel that, of course, for those of you familiar with Voyager, Tom Paris based that on his Captain Proton holodeck ship. So, but having that sort of physical presence in the controls, I think, gave it an amazing aesthetic. But it really does. So there was talk when the episode where they designed and built the Delta Flyer, there was talk about hot rods and things like that, and you can certainly see that with the lines. So let's open it up. Now the first thing, actually, before I open it up, one thing I can see quite clearly is that this is going to have one of the smaller magazines. So I'm a bit not unhappy with Eaglemoss. I get why they're doing it, but it is a pain in the arse that they have changed the magazine size. So in fact, I'm going to put that to one side for a moment. Well, I'll show you why I can tell you it's smaller than the magazine is. It is physically, you can see it's the box is smaller than the standard magazines. Now they did this again with Discovery, but at least with the Discovery magazines they had their own specific folders. The standard folder, of course, had it was nicely presented. Not quite getting this all on screen. But there we go. Now there are ways around when you do get smaller ones that you want to include in your file collection. The folders come with these pins at the top and bottom that you can put in. So we did occasionally get a smaller one. So what I did when it's fitting in with other magazines is I put a piece of wire. I actually cut up a coat hanger to fit all the way down so that the magazine can sit behind that. Otherwise it's just small pins at the top and bottom, so a smaller one would just fall out straight away. But a piece of coat hanger wire straight the way through will do that. The other alternative, because the shuttle collections also featured smaller magazines, but when I've got a collection of magazines all together, and I'll probably end up doing this for the collection moving forward, to be fair, so I can keep the folders uniform, is to, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but you've got the bit here. I basically drilled out the rivets from the top, and I reset and re-glued the top part so that they fit the shuttles. But yeah, so at least I can keep the collection going uniform. Like I say, I don't mind when it's like Discovery and it's a smaller magazine overall, because at least they do their binders. Although I've got to say, these binders, again, Eaglemoss, not very happy about this. They produced way too few of these. These are like rocking horse droppings to get hold of now. In fact, I've just seen a couple come up on eBay this morning, and instantly they're up to 21 quid with a couple of bidders on them each, I've got to say. So Eaglemoss, I've been on to Eaglemoss about this multiple times, and they've been promising, oh yes, we'll send it out with the next delivery, and they've not come. And to be honest, I've never received one from Eaglemoss, and despite being one of the very first people on the Star Trek Discovery collectors when that was first. I'm no longer a subscriber to that collection because of other issues surrounding the way they Eaglemoss manage their subscriptions, but yeah, I was one of the very first, and it should have come out with the first issue, but it never did, and I never received one. So now I have to pay an absolute fortune if I want one. And like I said, they are incredibly rare to get hold of. So Eaglemoss, sort your shit out. Anyway, that's my little rant over. So on to the Delta Flyer. So let's get this opened. So yes, we have a smaller magazine. Interestingly enough, the magazine is bigger than the Shuttle one. It's probably about the same size as the Discovery one. It is, yeah. Oh no, it's slightly larger. It is slightly larger than the Discovery one. So, Eaglemoss. Right, again, I'm going to have a little bit of a rant here. So I can't use Discovery binders with this. I can't use the other binders. You haven't released a new style of binder for the new size. So, what's the plan here? What's the thinking, Eaglemoss? Yeah. Sort your stuff out. The magazine I looked through once, and then it goes in the folder, and I never look at them again. But they're quite nice. You get some sort of detailed information about. Oh, I realise I'm off screen there. About how the original thing was designed. So you get images of prototypes, versions that didn't make it, how it was crafted. You get some technical information on it as well. Yeah. Oh, and they're also talking about the captain's yacht, the aero thingy. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, it's okay. Magazines have some interesting sort of tidbits in, but that's not really what I get this for. So let us. Here we are. It comes with the usual stand with what it is underneath. Oh, the right way around. Delta Flyer. Yes, that will hold the Delta Flyer. I hope it holds it anyway. Cool. They make these very difficult to get out sometimes. There we go. So that is a thing of beauty. Very, very nice. It's got a good weight to it. It does feel like I think that part, because it's colder than the rest, is solid metal, which is nice, die cast. Plastic on the bottom and then the nacelles and on the nose. But overall, there's some nice intricate paintwork details. No Aztec in, but then I suppose at this size you wouldn't expect it. They've got the clear plastic for the nacelles, for the Bussard collectors, and the blue on the nacelles. It's nice. All the paintwork appears to be in line. Oh yeah, you've got Aztecing on the bottom there, but I'll hold that a bit closer. Unfortunately, I'm using my second cam for this, which isn't as good as the one built into the computer, but not to worry. But it gives you a good idea of the size. I've got a tape measure here, so we can get some idea of the size. This is 8.5 inches long, 22 centimeters by what's that? By 4.5 centimeters. So yeah, it's a good size. It feels nice and solid and hefty. I'm happy with the details. I haven't compared this obviously with the detailed on-screen version, so I don't know how accurate it is. No doubt the forums on Facebook for collectors of such things will be rife with people talking about any discrepancies with the on-screen version that may or may not come out, because they always do, and they're very, very good like that. But yeah, really nice detailing on the decals. Is it decals or decals, or is that an American English thing? I don't know. But yes, overall, very, very nice. Happy with that. There we are, the XL Delta Flyer. Right, so now how we're doing for time? Oh, we're good. Yeah. So decals. Yeah, it probably is decals. To be honest, I'd only really ever seen the word written until I suppose, recently, and then I've heard other people saying decals. So maybe, yeah, I can quite accept I'm wrong on it. It is absolutely a hot rod. I got the smaller version as well, so Eaglemoss ran a sort of a standard line of much smaller ones, obviously much cheaper ones as well as smaller, but it is up there. As hero ships go, it is up there as one of my favourites. Probably the Runabout is next in line, but we already have an XL of that. But yeah, I'll do more unboxings on future episodes. So yeah, if you tune in, if there's anything you want to know about the models as well, then do feel free to message me and let me know. Right, let's get on with some news. So the first bit of news I'm going to talk about is not about any specific show or movie, but in fact about CBS All Access overall. On the 4th of March this year, CBS All Access will be rebranded to become Paramount Plus. Now, as I understand it, I've not seen this. Being in the UK, we don't have legal access to these things, unfortunately. But I believe that during the Super Bowl recently, there was a commercial that had Ethan Peck, who played Spock in Star Trek Discovery, of course, and Anson Mount playing Captain Christopher Pike, both in costume. Now, particularly both of them are going to be featured in the new show Strange New Worlds, which follows the stories of Captain Christopher Pike on board the Enterprise before the Kirk years. So both of them were in this commercial in costume, as well as Patrick Stewart playing Patrick Stewart, I think is my understanding. I don't think he was playing Picard, but certainly he was in a tuxedo from the promotional photos that I've seen. They appeared to be on the top of some sort of mountain, all snow covered and what have you. And there were characters from various sort of flagship shows as well. But yeah, so CBS All Access, this is the primary thing. CBS All Access will be rebranded to become Paramount Plus on the 4th of March. Now, will this actually mean anything significant? I'm not 100% sure. Rebrandings can either be utterly meaningless and just purely a name change, but it can also indicate more of an opportunity for if you like looking at the Star Trek universe. So the movies are Paramount, the series are CBS All Access. It could potentially signify an opportunity for more of a crossover between the movies and the series, and that would be very, very nice. I'm not an expert in these legal matters, but that would be a good thing to see. I think we've had some hints that they are set in the same, not necessarily in the same universe, but in the same Trekverse, let's say. There was a nice sort of Easter egg nod in the most recent series of Discovery. I can say this without giving any spoilers, where they were talking about a person who had crossed over from a different universe, and they talked about it being an altered timeline where the planet of Romulus was destroyed. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty obvious to anyone sort of watching it. They were talking about the JJ verse timeline, and this character being brought over from this alternate timeline, this different universe, to their own. So that kind of merges the two Trek verses just in that single moment, at least for me, canonically. It merges the two. So it would be nice to see more of a merging of the movies to the series. Whether or not that legally happens, I don't know. But we can watch this space and we can see. Litigious, I think, is the word you want there. CBSR. Yes, yes, the Modiphius RPG. Yes. Yes, CBS are very legit. I mean, and let's face it, the Trek name is worth a huge amount of money to them, and they are business people. Yes, well, Axonar, of course, has been fraught with issues right from the word go, in terms of legal problems. But yeah, so well, yeah. So rebranding to be part of the Paramount family, we can only see. Wait and see. Now, speaking of movies, there's only really one bit of information I've got this week with regards to the movies, and this was a rumour that started going round in the early part of the week, saying that William Shatner, the original Captain Kirk, would be in the new Star Trek movie. Now, pretty quickly, he got onto Twitter. I mean, he's no stranger to Twitter, and put some certainly controversial statements out from time to time, a lot of which I don't agree with at all. But there we go. But yeah, he did shoot this rumour down on Twitter very early on, saying that these rumours are nothing more than clickbait. So I don't think there's anything to be had with that rumour at all. That's a really bit of news, except everything I'm getting back when I'm trying to find information about the movies is that every single iteration is currently on hold. So that's the original idea of the Star Trek 4 with Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pine in it. That's the Noah Hawley version. That's the Tarantino version. So every version is just on hold. Some of them, it seems, pretty permanently. So I'm confident that at some point we are going to get another Star Trek movie. I am supremely confident of it because it's going to make them money. I don't think it's going to be any time soon, though. Probably not in the next few years. The whole movie industry is in absolute turmoil at the moment, mainly due to the pandemic, but also the development of streaming has changed the way audiences watch movies as well. And the big blockbuster in the movie theatres just isn't making the money that it used to make. And like I say, the pandemic particulars hit people really, like movie companies, really, really hard. So I think they're going to have to oh yes, become a ballerina. No, become a cyber tech. Yeah, I mean, yes. Hey Cat, no worries, you're never late, you're right on time. And you can always go back and watch the bits that you've missed if you so wish anyway. But you're never late, you turn up exactly when you mean to. That's the thing to say. But yes, but it's good to have you with us. Oh, well, we'll blame Ed for it, absolutely. But yeah, so that's kind of it for the movies. I don't think we'll get any more news for a very, very long time. But if we do, if we hear anything, I will be the first to tell you. Yes, well, that's the thing about Wales. You watch forward an hour and back 30 years, don't you? Yes, no offence to Welsh people at all. I love Wales. I would love to live in Wales, but I have to be close to London, sadly. I love the countryside and the people. Welsh people are brilliant. Um, now, let's move on to Discovery. Discovery Season 4. They are currently filming, as we know. They're filming in Toronto at the moment. They have been filming, in fact, since November 2020. Thank you, Ed. Yeah, I'm... So, I know some people love London, and there is a lot about London to love. The theatres are just absolutely fantastic. But I have a deep aversion to crowds in particular. It's actually part of PTSD that I suffer from. So yeah, so crowds and I also I spent too many years living in Wiltshire where I was surrounded by green rolling fields as far as the eye could see. So yeah, the idea of just being surrounded by concrete and steel and glass, just not my thing at all. So I actually live just outside London now. I've moved to High Wycombe in Buckinghamshire, so that's quite nice. I've got countryside sort of on my doorstep, and I've got London on my doorstep as well. So it's feeling like quite a nice balance. But I would like to move back to either Wiltshire or definitely Wales. Wales would be very appealing. Be a bit closer to the sea. Yes, very nice. Oh, right, cool. Yes, I'm in High Wycombe. Cool. So Star Trek Discovery. We were saying, by the way, do you like the Discovery bridge set? I'm wearing it. I'm not wearing the bridge set. I've put the bridge set on my background because I am wearing the Disco T-shirt, which I like. But yes, when the pandemic's over, I'm being ultra safe. Thank you, Kat. That is very nice of you to say. Yes, so I will get this Discovery news out there. So currently, like I say, they've been filming since November 2020. The pandemic has had its share of issues, making things difficult, as it has almost every production, of course. So currently they are 6 months behind what they originally hoped to do. So what effect that has on release dates, we have yet to see, but I think it's got to affect them. I think we'll see a later. I don't think we'll see October this year. I think we'll probably see early part of 2022. That's my current prediction. I hope I'm wrong. I like to think of shows, waiting a year before you get, between start dates. But that's not the world we live in currently. And again, that's something that streaming has had an effect on. It's become less essential for any TV show to have specific times, dates that they launch. You basically launch the whole thing, and with the exception of a few shows, you just drop the whole series in one go. I like the weekly thing with Discovery, but yeah, it doesn't have to launch at a particular time like back in the old days that I remember oh so well. So if it does end up being delayed, it ends up being delayed, and I'd rather they get it right than quick. But at the same time, I'm an impatient bugger, so there we go. Now the other thing, kind of to report that there is no news on. Originally, the plan was to film season 5 back to back with season 4, and I can't find any news whether or not that is actually happening. Now, the fact that was the original plan does indicate that they were picked up for season 5 as well as season 4. I don't know if the fact that there's new news means it's not happening now. In fact, was considering staging the release of DS4. DS4. You'll have to explain that one to me, I'm afraid, because I don't understand. I mean, I know that's clearly Star Wars. Oh, Discovery Season 4. Sorry, yes. No, that was me being dense. Discovery Season 4. For after the next... again, with streaming, I don't think that's become the issue that it was. So it was a very big thing when, I mean, particularly before videos, they would be very careful not to show two major things. So, for example, EastEnders and Coronation Street, which are soap operas in the UK, the very long-running ones. EastEnders, famously a flagship show for the BBC. Coronation Street, flagship for ITV. They would be very careful not to show those at the same time, because you're going to lose ratings if you do so. So they were very careful. But that's not the age we live in. Now that things are just being streamed, and particularly stuff like Discovery that's going straight to streaming, it doesn't really matter if stuff drops at the same time, because, well, you'll watch one thing and then you'll watch the other. So, you know, you might watch an episode of Mandalorian, then watch an episode of Discovery, and watch them sort of back to back, or you can watch them on different days. It doesn't really matter anymore. They're still going to get the same hits. They're still going to get the same ratings. So it has kind of changed with that. I doubt that is playing. But you might be right. You might be right. Maybe it might take away from their promotion of it. That could be a thing. Marketing. I'm saying this all as I'm thinking it out loud. But yeah, promotion and marketing could play a part. So we now don't know if season 5 is confirmed or if season 5 has been deconfirmed. That's probably not a word, but hey ho. We have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But it also indicates that originally, when they film series back to back, like was the original plan, it's usually because the two series are linked really, really heavily. Think back to when the second and third Matrix movies were filmed. They filmed them simultaneously because they were basically two parts of the same story. So yeah, that's so whether that has changed, who knows? I'm struggling to get news on it, but as I say, I will let you know. One thing I can confirm about Discovery Season 4 that I'm very, very pleased about is, I mean, we're seeing the return of pretty much all the main cast members. Are confirmed, but one character in particular that I'm keen to see a lot more of and hear a lot more is David Cronenberg's character, who has been confirmed. And I can actually give you a name to this. We've not had a name in the series, but I have found out his character's name for you. It is Kovich. Or is it Kovic? It's CH on the end. Kovich. So Kovich is his name, his given name. That's been on some promotional material. So yeah, there we go. I want to know who he is. I've got a theory. I'm going to give you my fan theory now. I think he is a Terran. He seemed to have a particular interest in Terrans and Terran history, so I think he is a Terran, and the way Cronenberg is playing the character, and people forget, of course, we know him famously for his sort of body shock horror films, which he does absolutely brilliantly, and his son's now started doing them, but people forget he is a fantastic actor in of himself. I remember I first saw him back in Nightbreed, the Clive Barker movie, based on the book Cabal. So Ed, yes. Love the Kelpians, yes. Doug Jones is just always phenomenal in everything he's ever done. He's an amazing actor and such a lovely person as well. When you see him in interviews, he comes across as just a genuinely really nice people. But yeah, it's great to see sort of that their sort of backstory in the Kelpian sort of culture being explored and expanded upon. Definitely. And indeed, in Discovery Season 3, we've had a bit more and a bit of intrigue, but I don't know how up to date you are with that, so I'll leave that there. But yeah, so we're getting David Cronenberg back in his character of Kovic, and hopefully we will find out a bit more about this mysterious person. Picard now. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Especially the ganglia. Yes, now Picard Season 2. Now this has been fraught with problems right from the start. They were originally going to start production in January. Pandemic put pay to that. Then they were going to start production in February. Plans were delayed. But I can tell you that as of Wednesday the 17th of this month, so the word, like I said, the word planned to start at the beginning of February, and then we heard that had got postponed. But Wednesday the 17th, actor Michelle Hurd, who plays Raffi in Picard, posted a tweet talking about being back to work with a name card saying Raffi. So production has now started on Picard Season 2, and clearly Raffi's going to be back. We have heard that a number of characters are going to be back. Obviously Patrick Stewart, Brent Spiner, Michelle Hurd, all the main characters are going to be back. We've also heard, I mentioned this last week, that Whoopi Goldberg will be making an appearance as Guinan. Don't know how I feel about that. I was never a fan of Guinan, I'll be honest. So, yeah, don't know quite how I feel about that. Hopefully she won't be a staple and just one off and we'll see her and then we can disregard her again. But we will see. We will see. So that is Picard. Lower Deck Season 2. I've got no real news on this. It's progressing. That's it. I can tell you one thing that's not really news, but it's a bit of information about Season 2. From Season 1, the show did receive a little bit of criticism, might be a strong word for this, but it was queried why the show wasn't being as diverse as the other shows, the other Star Trek shows are. They're obviously, going to be, making some fantastic strides towards being much more inclusive in the society. Yes, Kat, need to know your favourite Trek episode, film, novel, game. Board's clear. What is your favourite Trek thing? Trek property? Yes, do tell us that. Good call there, Ed. Angel 1. Really? Is that because Riker's he's scantily clad? I wonder. That's my theory as to why you like that episode, Kat. Interesting choice. Yes, I thought so, because let's face it, the episode doesn't have much else to redeem it. I'm not a fan of the first couple of seasons of Next Gen. I mean, I'm saying I'm not a fan. I love all Trek, but some of it is more of a struggle than others. But yeah, that's a good reason. As good a reason as any. Does not do it for me, but more power to you. Fantastic. Yes. So yeah. Absolutely. I mean, Terry Farrell. Oh, interesting. Now, I'm more of a fan of Terry Farrell than yeah, but okay. I mean, they're both fine actors. They're both fine actors. But yes, now speaking of sexuality, yeah. So this criticism, I'm going to call it criticism, even though that's probably not the right word, of Lower Decks was that it wasn't being diverse enough, and the creators have come forward and said, well, actually, Mariner is bisexual. We just never really explored it properly. So they're now going to be making more of a, not a point, but they're going to make an effort to make that included in season 2 now. So it'll have its share of diversity. They have also mentioned that we're going to have more Tendi focused episodes, and the plural was in there as well. Now, I don't know if that means that Mariner and Tendi are going to get it on. Who knows? It's this is quite a deep dive conversation. I think because Trek is a real vision of hope for humanity, I think the more people that see themselves in it, that see themselves represented, particularly those minorities that historically have struggled more. So you go back to the original series, having a black female in a position of authority on the bridge was a real it was a huge, massive thing. And how amazing was that? There's of course the famous story of how Nichelle Nichols was going to quit Star Trek, and was talked out of it by a very famous black activist. But the story's out there, so I'll let you. Yes, Martin Luther King. Yes. So yeah, exactly. So I think I think the more diverse, the better. To be honest, as a white middle-aged man, I see myself everywhere in these things. As a fat bloke, not so much, but that's that's less of an issue. Obviously, I'm saying that very tongue-in-cheek, just to be absolutely clear. But no. So I think the more people that can see themselves in Star Trek, the better. So there we go, cuddly. Oh, bless you. That's nice of you to say. So I mean, it is going to create ire in some people. Pretty much every change that Star Trek's ever made has created ire in people from the past. Yes, absolutely. Yes, indeed. I need as much as I can get. But yeah. So absolutely. So, and think about how shocking that casting, that diversity was back in the 60s. I think including sort of transgendered people, bisexual people, gay people. I think that's actually quite low level compared to what the casting was of the original series, given that the day and age we're supposed to be living in. We're kind of, as a society, we're less accepting of change, I think, now. Because of course social media has enabled us to all live in our own echo chambers. I'm very fortunate. I live in a very sort of liberal echo chamber, and it is an echo chamber because I'm a very liberal person. But there we go. Anyway, not to get all too political, although with Star Trek's always been very political on such things, so it's going to crop up from time to time. But let's talk about some of the new shows coming out then. So, Section 31 as a show. Now, bear in mind, I'm saying Section 31. It is the Section 31 series. We haven't even had a name confirmed for it yet. All we know it's going to have Michelle Yeoh in it. That's it. That's as much as we know. We don't know if Shazad Latif or Mary Chieffo will be featuring in it, even as guests. Certainly, I'd like to see Shazad Latif in it. I mean, Mary Chieffo, as much as I absolutely love her character of Laurel and what she's done with the character and the performances she gives are absolutely brilliant, and she's this amazing presence on screen. I don't know as it would be right for the series to have her repeatedly featuring. The occasional appearance would be really, really nice. I think that would be a nice balance from my perspective. I think Shazad Latif can be, as a member of Section 31, could fit in really nicely, and it'd be great to see more of him. For British viewers, a lot of people don't realise, and it always surprised me when I meet someone and they hadn't been aware of this, but there's a comedy show by Matt Berry called Toast of London that featured a character, Clem Fandango, and he's actually played by Shazad Latif, and he's such a diverse character from Lieutenant Tyler that a lot of people just don't realise it is the same actor behind both. But there we go. Yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango. Is Lieutenant Tyler. But yeah, so we don't know if they're going to be in it yet. I think as we don't even have a name, I think the earliest we can hope for this Section 31 show now is probably late 2022. So that's going to be it's a long way off yet. And do you know what they say? A week's a long time in politics. It's certainly a long time in a studio, and a lot can happen between now and then. So whether these delays are an indication it might not happen after all, I don't know. It'd be a show. I'd like to see a Section 31 show. I know they've had to do a lot of retconning about Section 31 after its introduction in Deep Space Nine. But I like the idea of Section 31. I like the darker side of things, as clearly from my choice of favourite episode. I must. So we will see. But as Cronenberg's character in Discovery gave info to Giorgio about the fall of the Terran Empire, I'm wondering if that might end up being a direction that the show goes. Are we being teased on the new series, basically, by him giving that information? So I'm wondering if actually he goes a different direction than what we're expecting, which is that she goes back to her own time and just runs Section 31. Yes, there is. Now, whether Star Trek Adventures can be considered canonical at this point is another question, and certainly canon is something I want us to go deep dive on a future episode. But of course they're always reinventing things anyway, so but yeah, I'm if you're subtly hinting that our Star Trek Adventures game might one day feature Section 31, I'm aware of its existence in the game. But it would have, and that was a big thing in Deep Space Nine. When they introduced it, it's like everybody has it. It's there. It's an essential part of any society, and I get that. We might not want it to be, but there we go. So I do want to see Section 31 or the Section 31 show coming through, but we're not going to see it for some time yet. That's for certain. Strange New Worlds, however. Well, I've got some better news on this. Rumours are that production is either just about to start, or in fact has just started this week. Recently, Ethan Peck, who played Spock, and is returning to play Spock in Strange New Worlds, he posted some pictures from Toronto. Toronto, of course, being where they're filming Discovery. So, and we do know that Strange New Worlds was planned to be filmed in Toronto as well. Different studios, but both in Toronto. So Ethan Peck posted some, oh look, it's nice and snowy here type photos from Toronto, and a fan asked him, was he there to film Strange New Worlds? And all he did was reply with a wink emoji. So we can't tell, obviously actors have to sign non-disclosures, and they're very, very strict about what people can and can't say. So you can't just come out and say, yes. But I think a wink emoji is all we need on that one. The fact is, in Toronto, I think is a giveaway in of itself. Because during the pandemic, people aren't travelling unless they have to. So why would he go to Toronto? He doesn't live in Toronto. So why would he go to Toronto unless it's for work? There we go. It is very, I'm taking that as a confirmation, even though for legal reasons he hasn't said yes. But there we are. So I think we can. I suspect, given the timeline of when he posted this, and putting it together with a couple of other rumours, I think production's probably started this week. This week just gone. On Strange New Worlds. So that's really exciting. And if that is indeed the case, then hopefully we'll have more information coming out as and when as CBS All Access or Paramount Plus, as they're about to become, decides we should have information, which is how these things go. And the third new show that we have information on, the CBS and Nickelodeon collaboration, Prodigy, the new animated show. We know that Kate Mulgrew is going to feature in it, and the info I've heard listed her as Captain Janeway, not Admiral. So I don't know if that's an indication as to when we can expect it to be set, or it might just be a typo, basically. We know her as Captain Janeway from Voyager. Yes, well, Anson Mount was, so responding to your comment there, Ed, Anson Mount was a real fan favourite, and I think he knocks that out of the park. And of course, for him to have a character with lines coming from his recent show, where he played Black Bolt, it's nice for him to actually have some lines, and he totally knocked. You could tell so much. He had so much fun playing that role, and he brought so much to it. He was a proper fan favourite, which is why I think that's what sold them on Strange New Worlds. They probably didn't even consider it initially. So yes, looking forward to that. But yes, onto Prodigy then. So we'll have to wait and see whether it is Captain Janeway or Admiral Janeway. Obviously, it will be dictated to by when it is set. Now, Kat, I hope you're still watching, because I know you're going to get very, very excited about this. I have a different perspective, but that's fine. It will be a boring world if we all agreed. Billy Campbell is going to be featuring in Prodigy, we've heard. Now, Billy Campbell famously, so he has two claims to fame with Star Trek. First of all, he auditioned for the role of Will Riker, and he was sort of in the final auditions, although he did terribly in his audition. This is his words, not mine, just so you know. But he sort of came close on that. He went in the final auditions with, sort of sat in the waiting room with Jonathan Frakes. But yes, but he did come back to play a one-off character who he is going to be reprising the role of, that of Thaddeum O'Connor from the episode The Outrageous O'Connor. Now, I didn't like that episode. I didn't like that character. I didn't like his portrayal of it. I didn't like the dialogue, the writing. I know you're very excited about this, Kat, and that's great. That's wonderful. But I personally... so the dialogue was pretty badly written in the first place, and it was too much. Oh, I'm a space rogue. I mean, I don't mind a bit of cheesiness in shows, in Star Trek in particular, as long as it's stating, here's some cheese for you. But where I think this fell down for me a bit was it was cheesy when it wasn't intended to be, which just to me comes across as bad. I mean, what I'm saying here are things that actually Billy Campbell himself has agreed with over the years in interviews. In fact, in an interview about Prodigy, he has said he's looking forward to the chance to redo the role because he knows he made such a bad job of it the first time round. He even joked about how Patrick Stewart tried to help him with his lines to deliver them, to get them a bit more genuine, but he was a lost cause because he himself said he wasn't developed enough as an actor at that time. So he is looking forward to the chance to sort of reinvent, but reprise the role certainly and make it decent. So we will see on that one. Prodigy has talked about bringing back a number of different heritage characters. I was surprised to see this one because obviously, I mean, you're a fan, Cat, and that's great, that's wonderful. But there aren't that many fans of the character, I don't believe, amongst Trekdom. So it's a surprising choice, but there we are. But we do know that Prodigy, as well as bringing back various heritage characters, is going to be a comedy as well. So very much in the vein of Lower Decks, but for a more junior audience, which is great. I look forward to that. So there we are. My goodness, I've run much longer than I planned to. I planned for this to be about an hour, but here we are. We get talking, and there we go. But that's all the news I have for this time. So this has been a great episode. I'm loving doing this. Our second episode. I'm really grateful it was suggested to me, so thank you very much. So there we are. As well as having a bit of news, I've done the unboxing of the XL Delta Flyer from Eaglemoss, and like I said, do look forward to more unboxings in the future, as and when. And we talked about what our favourite episodes are, mine being, of course, In the Pale Moonlight from Deep Space Nine. But yeah, some really, really diverse choices from yourselves on that. Angel One. I never thought I would hear anyone say their favourite episode was Angel One. But, there we go. Just goes to show that as audiences, Trekdom contains the most amount of diversity of all. And that's where it's absolutely brilliant. Do join me next time. Yes, absolutely, some definitely good choices all round. Yeah. No, I mean, here's the thing. There's no such thing as a bad episode or film of Star Trek. There are just some that are different from others, and with the diversity of episode styles, you're going to get different choices from different people. Like I said, be a boring world if we were all the same. So there we go. So next time I'll be bringing you more news from the Trekverse. What news will I be bringing? Well, I don't know. It depends what happens during the week, really. You have to tune in and find out. I look forward to finding out myself. I would like you all to tell me what episode you would like me to review next week. Or movie. I'm happy with either. But yes, they're all good. Absolutely. Yes, so do tell me what episode you would like me to review. You can find me on Facebook, on Twitter. My links are below. And I will be talking in general about animated series in general. So do tune in for that. I'm really going to have to go now because I'm desperate for the loo. But do join us next time. Twitch TV /Stooge_action, and join us on Wednesday as well for Star Trek Adventures, the role-playing game with Ed, who is in the chat. We are having a lot of fun with that. That is 9:30 GMT on Wednesday. I'm going now, so you take care. In the meantime, live long and prosper. Keep on trekking. Bye.